Hey everyone, welcome back to Dad's Garage. So here's the next project. You want a cool roof rack for your Jeep XJ, but here's the problem. Whoa, almost $1,000, over 1,000 when they're not on sale. So these seem to be more functional. I like them better than the basket. I think the basket looks kind of out. Anyway, I like this look better. So first thing I did is I searched some other YouTube. There was some great stuff on there about building other racks. This gentleman was kind enough to have a PDF of a plan. So I'm kind of going to follow this with the angle iron on the edges and the extruded aluminum in the middle. However, I'm going to do some 1x2 and some 1x1 extruded. This doesn't show way to match it or mount it to your truck. Jumped on eBay and got these universal roof rack mounts, gutter mount. So $50. Anyway, I got parts coming. So this whole thing's just going to bolt together and then go up on the top. It's going to be the whole length of the Jeep and about 51 inches wide. So you'll be able to throw, plywood up there. 4x8 sheet of plywood or whatever. Anyway, more to follow. On top of the Jeep, trying to mock up this roof rack. Still got to take this off. There's 5 bolts that hold this down that I'd kind of like to tie in to the design. I've just got the 2x4 there to make sure when my extruded aluminum gets here, that it's high enough to not be resting here, which that's gonna work fine like that. But I wasn't real impressed with these eBay holders. They're a little thinner. Maybe the whole thing will seem sturdier when everything's bolted together, but I also had the brilliant idea that if I got a 2x4, a piece of rectangular aluminum similar to a size of a 2x4, I could drill through that and go down into the mounting screws for the original factory roof rack. That would make that tight, and the angle iron would be bolted to that, and the angle iron could also be bolted to that. I think that would make it really strong. So I've got to see if I can find maybe a 6-foot piece of aluminum rectangle that is similar, because it could be a little not quite as tall as a 2x4. It needs to be as wide, because then it lets it come out to the point where, well, actually it could be a little narrower too. So I got to get some more specific measurements, and I think I'm gonna do that. And when everything's painted black, it'll all tie together. This roof was painted bedliner black by the previous owner, but it's pretty faded. So I have some stuff that I use that I've painted on bumper guards before and fender flares. It's just a can bedliner stuff. It covers really good. It looks really nice. So everything will be covered with that. But I'm still waiting for the cross members to come. That's another week out. But I'm going to get these cut. I've got the angle drawn here. Tried to follow the angle of the windshield on the front and the lift gate on the back. So I've still got to make those cuts. But coming along. Hey, Clubber. Snowy day in Utah. Very pretty. This is January 1st, 2023. Welcome to 2023, everyone. Here in the garage, we're working on the roof rack. So, got that for Christmas, so the little heater's helping a little bit. Cut this angle, basically using my cutoff wheel and the DeWalt saw. This 1/4-inch aluminum, although I'm sure it's nowhere near as hard to cut through as steel. Still was a bugger. Now I got to clean that up. So this is the slant on the windshield for the front. Still got to cut the slant on the back, on the line there. got some holes marked. I mocked everything up, clamped everything on the top of the Jeep. Came across these bumpers from my old YJ, the tailgate bumpers, and I got the idea that maybe instead of having a bar up here, maybe replace these. So just give the angle iron something else to sit on. So you know the three clips that would hold it up, and then the angle iron. I don't know, just toying with some ideas to come up with it to make it a little more sturdy, a little stronger. And I'm gonna go ahead today and try and get these cuts made and cleaned up. The other ones over there, I've also got some 6-footers over there in the corner, the angle iron aluminum, to make a roof rack for the Dodge. So that'll be next, but that's all I'm really working on today. Happy New Year, everyone. Okay, I've got all 4 cuts made. I did remember to put a skinnier wheel. I think the one I had for the first cut was maybe, I don't know, thicker than that. And I think that's why it took longer. This skinny little wheel cut right through it. So now I've got both pieces. This is the front clamped together. And I'm just going over them with a file and a grinder and trying to get the ends exactly. So this end's definitely off. Sorry for the bad camera angle. Anyway, so that one's going to take some more grinding, but I'll get them so they're exact. And remember, this stuff's all going to be covered with this. So, this is black. I have some clear too, but this stuff goes on really well, and it's going to cover up any of these blemishes. But I will sand. I mean, I'll get out my disc sander too and sand this thing down so it's nice and pretty, and they both match. But sorry, I kind of just video when I'm done. I mean, I don't think you need to watch me cutting, even if it's in fast forward. I find that a little annoying. I mean, I'm sure you guys know how to cut. If you're contemplating building your own rack, you know how to cut metal, you know how to grind, you know how to make it look nice. You don't need to watch me do it. The only reason I make these videos is to get comments from y'all and to provide, input on how I came up with how to do it. So that's basically all I really try and show, not the actual work. But anyway, so next is get the back even. Then I've got to get all the holes drilled in the mounts and then throw everything back up on the Jeep, mock it all together. I'm still waiting for my extruded aluminum. So until that's here, I'm kind of at a stopping point. Okay, so a little more grinding, a little more sanding. I've got both ends about the same. I'm going to let the 60 grit rough up that aluminum a little bit because I'm a little worried about the paint sticking to it good. So I will go over the whole thing before I paint. But for now, I think I got 2 pieces the exact same size onto drilling brackets. Okay, I've got the metal cut, the angle aluminum cut and kind of clamped in place. So I'm ready to mark and drill those holes, those holes, and those holes. Because of the slope of the roof, it's going to be a 1/4 of an inch below, even there, about a 1/4 of an inch below there. I got the extruded aluminum. I got kind of sitting up there. I got to measure all that out. I think the front is going to go maybe something like that, so I have something to bolt, like a windjammer thing. And then I also forgot I had bought this replica of a Lund sun visor that some of these Jeeps had. So I'm gonna kind of making sure nothing's gonna interfere with that because I want to mount that once I get the rack up there. So what I did so I can mark holes is I made a little template. This is just some thick baseboard or something. So that matches that, so I can set that on the angle iron for the 2 inch and for the 1 inch. So I just shot some paint on there and then pressed it down and then found the hole. So anyway, really now I'm ready to mark holes where I need holes. The back I think I'm going to angle like that as well. And then the crossbars obviously is just going to lay on the angle iron, angle the front. I'm really ready to mark all those holes and then pull it down. I'm going to go ahead and paint the aluminum sides because it's still winter. It's freaking cold. I want to paint the whole thing. But I'm going to paint those, bolt everything back together and bolt it back up there. But eventually I'm going to repaint this because it's very faded. And I think I'll actually paint the roof rails there too. And these, obviously. So everything will be the engine, no, not engine, bedliner black. Not sure what to do with the visor yet. I'd love to see it red. So I may actually paint that the same color red and then have the roof black from there back. Anyway, more to follow. Okay, we've got this thing kind of mocked up on the sawhorses. I did the angle on the back. I just had the bolts in, but I took them out because I'm ready to just put a couple of hole there and a hole there. And I got the big hole saw in the drill press. This is the practice. I drilled the hole and then used this little grinder thing that I got on Amazon for like 40 bucks to round that out a little bit. So I'm gonna drill these 4 holes, 2 on each side, and then I'm gonna sand everything and get it painted. I've got the brackets one side painted with the bed liner stuff over here. Those turned out pretty good. Bolt heads. Brackets all painted. So next time I video, I'll probably be about ready to bolt it on. Because I'm going to paint it and leave it sit for a good week. Okay, we are back. I took some time to paint the side posts and the brackets with the bed liner paint. Put a hole in each side and beveled it out so that I have something to tie maybe bungees to. And I got it bolted up there, ready to put the crossbars in. They're both leaning in a tad, but the crossbars should push those out. In fact, I'm worried they're going to push them too far, but I can always trim those if I have to. So anyway, I think I like the looks of it. I think it looks pretty cool up there. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and start with the front and the rear crossbar, which I have painted with the bed liner. You can see the difference. I just painted the outside for now, mostly because it's like, 30 degrees in Utah. It's not really the best environment for painting. My plan is to paint the whole roof. I probably mentioned earlier. I'm going to repaint the black, and this is probably going to get chipped up, putting together too. So that'll be happening in the spring. Okay, so this is going to be a wrap. This video is getting way longer than I wanted to. But I will do a part 2 when I figure out what I'm going to do on the front for wind, I guess. And when I get the Lund visor mounted, I still want to do something. I bought a bunch of these bumpers off of eBay. I still want to, damn ladder. I still want to do something with tying those into these holes. So just for extra support. But I'll tell you, this thing is way sturdy, just with the 3 brackets on each side. So that's not going to be a priority. I think it would hold pretty much, I don't know about a rooftop tent. Who knows? I'm too old of a man, have to pee too many times at night to sleep in a rooftop tent, but it seems sturdy enough to probably hold one. Anyway, I really like it. I'm really pleased with it. I think it really looks cool. And I think grand total, if I added up all my metal and the hardware, probably about $350 maybe. And that's taken into account that I bought extra hardware. There's the aluminum in the corner, extra extruded for a roof rack to go on top of the Dakota. So that's actually next. So yeah, probably about $330, $340, better than $1,000, and I think it looks just as good. And got bragging rights because I did it myself. Anyway, I will do a part 2 when I figure that other stuff out, and I'll do the one about the rack I build for the Dakota too. Later.